You spent $27 this week and you don't remember on what. Not because you're careless, because it wasn't one purchase. It was 5 or 6 small ones, scattered across 4 days, each one too small to notice. A coffee here, a delivery fee there, an app subscription you forgot you had. None of it felt like spending money, but it was. And by the end of the year, that $27 a week turns into something you'd never approve if it showed up as a single charge on your statement. Here's the number. $27 a week is $1,404 a year. Not hypothetical, not rounded up for effect. That's the real math. Sitting quietly in your bank account, leaving in pieces so small you never feel the exit wound. Why does this happen to almost everyone? Because your brain isn't built to track small, frequent losses. It's built to flag big, sudden ones. A $500 car repair triggers alarm bells. A $4 charge does not. Researchers who study spending behavior call this the pain of paying. Big purchases hurt in a way your brain remembers. Small purchases don't hurt at all, and anything that doesn't hurt gets repeated again and again until it's a habit you didn't know you built. Subscription services figured this out a long time ago. That's not an accident. A $5 monthly charge is designed to sit below your radar. It's cheap enough that canceling doesn't feel urgent, but convenient enough that keeping it feels harmless. Multiply that by 4 or 5 services, and you're not paying $5 anymore. You're paying $25, $30, sometimes $50 a month for things you use maybe twice. Now here's where it gets worse. It's not just the $27 you lose, it's the $27 that never got the chance to grow. Picture 2 versions of you. One spends that $27 a week without thinking. The other invests it instead in a simple low-cost index fund. The kind that tracks the average return of the stock market over time. Historically, that average has landed somewhere around 7% a year after inflation. Not every year. Some years it's negative, but over long stretches, 7% has been a reasonable long-term average. Run that $27 a week, invested consistently, for 20 years. You're not looking at $28,000, which is just the total you put in. You're looking at somewhere close to $60,000 because of something most people were never taught to actually feel in their gut. Compound growth. Compound growth means your money doesn't just grow. It grows on top of what it already grew. Year 1, your investment earns a return. Year 2, you earn a return on your original money and on the growth from year 1. Year 10, you're earning returns on 9 years of returns stacked on top of each other. It's slow at first, almost boring. And then, somewhere around year 15 or 20, the curve stops looking like a line and starts looking like a hook. This is the part that never gets taught in school, and it's the part that separates people who build wealth slowly and quietly from people who never quite understand where their money went. It's not about a 6-figure salary. It's not about picking the right stock at the right moment. It's about what happens to the money that's small enough to ignore. So why doesn't everyone just cut the $27 and invest it? Because it's never framed as one decision. It's framed as 5 tiny decisions, spread across a week, each one feeling too small to matter. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler spent years studying exactly this kind of thing, the way people mentally separate small purchases from their real budget, treating them like they don't count the same way rent or a car payment counts. But they do count. They just count quietly. Here's the twist most people miss entirely. Cutting this habit isn't about deprivation. Nobody's telling you to never buy coffee again. The shift isn't in what you cut. It's in where the money goes after you notice it. The $27 doesn't have to disappear from your life. It just has to stop disappearing from your future. Think about the last subscription you signed up for. Did you compare it against anything? Or did it just feel small enough not to think about? That's the pattern. Not one bad decision. 100 small ones, none of which felt like a decision at all. The fix isn't complicated, and it's not another app or another spreadsheet you'll abandon in 3 weeks. It's one number. Add up every recurring charge under $10, every subscription, every small delivery fee, every convenience charge you've stopped noticing. Look at the weekly total, not the yearly one yet, just the weekly one. That number is small enough to feel manageable and honest enough to be uncomfortable. Then ask one question. If this same amount showed up as a single withdrawal from your account every Friday, would you approve it? Not would you notice it. Would you approve it on purpose, knowing exactly what it was for? For some of it, the answer will be yes. That's fine. This isn't about eliminating every small pleasure you have. It's about the ones that slipped through without ever getting asked the question in the first place. Redirect even half of that $27, and the 20-year number doesn't disappear. It just changes hands. From a company that never had to earn your attention twice, to a future version of you that never had to ask for a raise to feel richer. Here's a second number worth sitting with. Financial researcher Neil Godfrey, who spent decades studying how people talk about money with their kids and with themselves, found something almost every household has in common. People can tell you their salary down to the dollar. Almost nobody can tell you their actual weekly spend on things under $10. Not because the number is hidden, because nobody ever asked them to add it up. The salary feels like an identity. The small charges feel like noise. But noise, repeated 52 times a year, is still a number. It's just a number nobody bothered to calculate. Consider what happens at the 10-year mark instead of the 20-year mark, because most people won't wait 2 decades to check if this was worth it. At 10 years, that same $27 a week, invested at that same rough 7% average, lands somewhere around $20,000. You put in about $14,000 of that yourself. The other $6,000 showed up because you let time do work you didn't have to do. That's not a hypothetical bonus. That's what happens when you stop treating small money like it doesn't count. Now compare that to what the $27 looks like if it just leaves. Same 10 years, same $14,000 spent, except this time, none of it comes back. It becomes forgotten coffee, forgotten subscriptions, forgotten convenience fees. Not one memorable purchase in the bunch. Just an absence, with nothing to show for it, and no story attached to where it went. This is why the habit is so easy to miss. A bad, big decision leaves a memory. You remember the vacation you probably shouldn't have put on a credit card. You remember the car you overpaid for. But nobody remembers the 4th month of a streaming subscription they stopped watching in month 2. There's no memory attached to money that leaves in small enough pieces, and what you can't remember, you can't fix. There's a pattern researchers have noticed in people who successfully build savings without dramatic lifestyle changes. It isn't willpower. Willpower runs out. It's default settings. The people who keep the $27 working for them usually didn't rely on remembering to transfer it every week. They set up an automatic transfer once, moved on with their life, and let the system handle what motivation eventually stops handling on its own. The habit that drains your account is automatic. The habit that protects it should be automatic too. Otherwise, you're relying on your future self to make the same disciplined choice 52 times a year, and your future self is exactly as distracted as you are right now. This is also why cutting one big subscription rarely fixes anything on its own. Canceling a $15 service and feeling proud of it, while 3 other $5 charges keep running quietly in the background, is like patching one hole in a boat while 2 others keep taking on water. The goal was never a single dramatic cut. It's the full weekly number, seen all at once, honestly, for the first time. This is the quiet part nobody puts in a headline. Wealth isn't usually built by one big smart move. It's built by never letting the small ones go unnoticed. The people who look financially comfortable at 50 didn't necessarily earn more than everyone else in their 20s. A lot of them just stopped losing money to things too small to see. So the next time you glance at your bank account and wonder where the money went, remember this. It probably didn't go anywhere dramatic. It went somewhere $27 at a time. And the real answer to where your money went isn't in one transaction. It's in the pattern you never stopped to look at.